Part 22. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 215. The latest broadcast tomorrow is 515, the beginning of the anniversary, the most welfare day. In addition to the gift bag, this time the 515 red envelopes mad must be seen. Red envelopes do not grab the truth, set the alarm clock. The architectural style of the entire harbor town is bright and lively, with a mix of red, yellow, orange, and white, transforming the town into a warm home. The residents of the mine village moved into a new home with joy and joy. The original mine manager Ryan was appointed as the mayor of the harbor town by Zyway. Each villager can rely on business and work for a living in the future. The mine hole of the arcane crystal mine is completely filled with the force of the earth element giant manipulating elements. The most sophisticated arcane crystal can be mined from the magical array where the etheric ball was once placed in the underground chamber. There are two kinds of plans for building the Violet Academy. One is to build a college castle that can accommodate thousands of apprentices to study and live in one step. The second is a simple step-by-step process. Although Zyway wants to completely build the Violet Academy in the design blueprint, but time is tight, Zyway's ability is also insufficient, so he can only choose the second option. The entire Violet Academy is also open-ended, without any magical protection. The teaching building, dormitory building, library, laboratory building, arena, 5 unified-style buildings have been completed, like pebbles dotted in the garden, simple and beautiful. When the Violet Academy was actually built, it has already entered November. Although it is located in the warm Golden Sea, but recently it has been raining for a few days, the apprentices have also put on raincoats to shelter the wind and rain. Despite the gloom of the sky, despite the light rain, the apprentices attended the ceremony at the completion of the Violet Academy with a bright smile on their faces. Unlike the narrow and old towers, the Violet Academy is so spacious and beautiful, just like the King's Summer Palace. The third apprenticeship spell contest was held in the newly completed arena. The arena is very large. In the middle is a competitive platform with thousands of square meters. The ground is covered with a flat layer of solid stone that has been strengthened by Zyway. It is almost impossible to destroy the venue with the power of magic apprentices and low-level magicians. There are 4 stands in the stands, and there are 2,000 fixed seats. In this apprenticeship spell contest, Lyndon, who has reached the peak of the magic apprentice, finally defeated rival Lista with the sharpness of the arcane missile spell and won the championship. Due to the powerful teaching function of Western spell list, many middle and low-level magic apprentices have made rapid progress. The high-level magic apprentices of Violet Academy have reached a total of 30 people, surpassing the number of intermediate magic apprentices for the first time. Once in December, the 9th day of the middle is the birthday of the Son of the Glorious Church. Although most of the magicians do not believe in the Lord of Glory or the faith is very shallow, but their parents and family are mostly devout believers. For the millennium, the birthday of the sun has become the most grand festival of the entire continent. That is to say, in another month, the Violet Academy must have a holiday. The magic apprentices from Ayacho will end their study in Violet for nearly half a year and return home to enjoy a month of winter vacation. At present, the tutors of the entire Violet Academy count only 5 internship tutors who have just been promoted to the official magician, and there are fewer than 100 students. This obviously does not meet the planning of Zyway. The time to start the magic popularization plan is coming. When 11 was idle this time, he was writing the first book of the magic popularization series, How the Magician Made It. The magician has always been powerful and mysterious in the hearts of ordinary people. Many times the image is not so positive. In many night novels, there must always be such an evil magician as a behind-the-scenes hand. Many children have dreamed of becoming powerful and noble knights, winning a piece of land and marrying a beautiful princess. But the children who dream of becoming magicians are few and far between, because they don't know how to become a magician. How the Magician is Made is written for the majority of young people to know more about the magician and to be interested in the profession of the magician. In terms of subject matter, Zai Wei eventually chose the theme of the novel. The novel is full of fun and story, not too serious, not too professional, and easy to be sung by bards in the pub. As long as the content is good, it can be widely spread. The night novel is one of the models. Since the birth of the first night-themed novel The Paladin 500 years ago, this theme has been popular for hundreds of years, and numerous excellent works have appeared, such as Being the Most in the Tower. The Dragon Knight legend, which is popular among apprentices, is a masterpiece. But after so many years, the Knight's novel has inevitably fallen into a trough because of aesthetic fatigue. Although there are other ways to write about themes of warriors, thieves, and archers, but the novels that really dominate the magician have never been a fire. Because the magician is too mysterious. The true magician is pursuing more powerful power and more knowledge all day long. Who will put down his body to write a novel? Ordinary people who don't understand magic, but it is impossible to write a story about a magician. And How is the Magician Made is to fill the gap in the market, the first of the series of magical popular reading materials that really guide people's interest in magic. The first shot was undoubtedly crucial. 11 Wei is also letting Sue choose the most suitable works from the vast library to imitate. Zai Wei Master, according to the search, the network literature that emerged in the early 21st century, to grasp the reader's cool point as the first priority, all the way to the end, the assembly of the face, very popular with the readers at that time. Once become a social phenomenon and read it all. So how do you write such a cool text? Zai Wei asked. According to the most popular book in the library called Breaking the Sky, the main cool point is, a grandfather in the ring, mysterious and powerful, and secretly help the protagonist Lectra, Zero explained. I live in a grandfather in the ring? Since it is a magician, it is necessary to choose from the most famous magician in history. So, the first magician of the world, Merlin, should be the household name and the most famous magician. Just arrange Merlin to live in the Soul Ring, Zai Wei thought and replied. Secondly, the protagonist was genius at first, but suddenly became stupid because of mystery. Everyone started to mock him and ignore him. The boy's heart swelled and he made up his mind to prove that he showed it to everyone. All the people who have passed him are stepping on their feet. Right, be sure to add the most famous sentence of the whole book, 30 years of Hedong 30 years of Hexi, mo bullish young poor. Do you bully the boy? I understand, Zai Wei nodded. PS 5.15 starting point under the red envelope rain. At 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I will grab around every hour. A big wave of 515 red packets will be lucky. You all go grab the starting currency and continue to subscribe to my chapter. Mobile version. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Du. Chapter 216. The latest broadcast tomorrow is 515, the beginning of the anniversary, the most welfare day. In addition to the gift bag, this time the 515 red envelopes mad must be seen. Red envelopes do not grab the truth, set the alarm clock. In the end, and the most important first point, there must be a retreat plot. The original protagonist is a marriage contract set by the genius. After the protagonist becomes stupid, he is shimmering. The genius fiancé who has entered the martial arts holy place will be retired. The protagonist and the fiancé has to make a 3-year contract, and then kill the Zongmen and the fiancé in a battle. This is the bridge that the readers are most passionate about. Remarriage? Yes. Then arrange the heroine to have super high magical qualifications, and be taken by the magic master of the Thousand Law Tower. The protagonist of this Breaking the Sky is to manipulate all kinds of mysterious and powerful flames. Then arrange the protagonist to be the flame master in the Elemental Magician. I don't know how to read it. Writing is still a new thing for Zai Wei, so he decided to write in strict accordance with the guidance of Zero. Since the potential target group is a teenager who can recognize the word, that is, the child of the aristocrat and the merchant family, the protagonist Far is set as the son of the aristocrat, the apprentice of a chamber of commerce. A mysterious magician came to the harbor city to accept the apprentice, and the protagonist Far and his fiancée Jessica were selected at the same time and became a glorious magic apprentice. The protagonist Far became a star among all the apprentices of this magician because of his superb fire affinity. But suddenly one day, Far's magic stagnated and never grew again, and was left behind by the magic apprentices of the same period. Far always carries a ring in his hand, which is the relic left by his mother. Finally, one day, the ring was activated, and the soul of the first magician, Merlin, lived in it. Under the guidance of Merlin, he began to refine histrious and powerful magical potions to enhance himself. He activated his potential and began to control the powerful horrible flames in the multifaceted plane. What Far didn't know was that among the apprentices of the mentor, another genius girl Nicole was the mysterious princess of the Holy Norman Empire. An incognito life for some special reason. Nicole is cute on Far. Far's fiancée, Jessica, was promoted to the official magician because of the super water elemental affinity, and even got the appreciation of a magician in the Thousand Family Tower. At this moment, Jessica, under the leadership of the mentor, went to the Far family to retire, and Far's father was vomited with blood and fell ill in bed. This is the synopsis of the story. Zai Wei has added all kinds of real feelings in the cultivation of each stage of Far. For example, in Far, because there is no money to buy magic to wash the potion, under the guidance of Merlin, a ring spell is inscribed. Promoted to the official magician in the soul. For example, the heart of the lake that opened up the fire, the heart of the lake hovering with the dead birds. These are all of Zai Wei's own experiences. Of course, Zai Wei will not easily write out the secrets of it, but it will be half-truthful and semi-fake. The mysterious look is only amazing, but it is difficult to imitate directly. The battle between the magic apprentice and the magician is also very real, and it can be said that the magician peers will never be jokes. Maybe magic apprentices and low-level magicians read this book, but they can also get some inspiration from the theory, which will help to improve their magic level. The plot is a high-level magician who has become a powerful alien magician. He went to the Thousand French Tower and defeated Jessica, who also promoted the high-level magician under the guidance of the magic master. A happy life ends together. Most of the descriptions of the Tower of the Thousand Laws come from Christine's introduction, and it is not too distorted. After completing the plot and magic theory, Zai Wei asks Zero to help polish the brush. In terms of writing, Zero is a collection of countless literary pens. After the whole book is polished, the level of excitement is greatly improved, and the level is increased from 60 degrees to a full percentage. The text of the whole novel is controlled within 500,000 words. Zero paper and printing technology clearly exceeds the average of the Orient continent, with 500,000 words printed on a thick book and not too dense. On the cover, Zai Wei also made great efforts to paint himself. In the middle is a handsome red-haired boy holding a different fire. The whole body is burning with a blazing flame, and it is a strong battle against the loser. This is obviously the protagonist Far. Behind Far is the shadow of an old man, white-haired white-browed beard, and one of them is very wise and knowledgeable. This is obviously the first magician of man, the grandfather Merlin. On the left side of Far is a proud blue-haired iceberg beauty, naturally Jessica retired, and on the right is a sweet and mysterious charm of the purple-hair beauty Nicole. The royal family of the Holy Norman Empire, the Albrecht family in Habsburg, has always been known as the iconic double chin and purple hair of the Orient continent. After the final completion, Zai Wei took the sample and asked the silver-haired beauty Christine to look over. Since the completion of Violet Berg, Christine has been the first to stay. In order to prevent Zai Wei from committing the mistakes that men would make, Charlotte also moved quickly, and along with the werewolf maid Cynthia and Sui became a member of the Violet Fortress, and spent almost all day in the indoor swimming pool. As a high-level magician, Christine is far more spiritual than ordinary people. The reading speed is very fast, especially this is a novel. About a quarter of an hour later, Christine Jade closed the book and turned a blind eye at Ziwei. "You have spent so much time, and you wrote this." 11 Wei smiled and asked, "How is it after reading?" Christine stared at Ziwei for a long time. "Do you want me to tell the truth or lie?" "Of course it is the truth. It's too ridiculous. Magic has been developing. Although Merlin was the strongest magician in his time, it is far less than the magician of today. He will not refine magic potions at all, and he does not know what multidimensional planes. Not to mention helping the protagonist get a different fire. And how can the Tower of the Thousand Laws be so good? A little water element is intimate, such a genius catches a lot. The magic master personally gives pointers, even my mentor it is a master of magic. Finally, Nicole is the princess of the Holy Norman Empire. What kind of ghost is this? The Holy Norman Empire is the first power of the Orient continent. How can the Albrecht family allow its royal members to live outside? In short, there are too many unreasonable plots in this book. Christine's ruthless spit apparently does not recognize the book written by Ziwei. Don't listen to her. She is the legendary reasonable party. The words of this kind of person, the more you listen to the street. Zero jumped out quickly. What do you mean by the street? Ziwei is puzzled. Flying on the street is dead and can't die anymore. Your book is completely imitating the essence of the peerless book breaking the sky. It must be able to spread throughout the continent of Orient. This is my entire library, 6,000 years. A model of cool text in the essence of human civilization. Zero is obviously very confident in his library. PS 5.15 starting point under the red envelope rain. At 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I will grab around every hour. A big wave of 515 red packets will be lucky. You all go grab the starting currency and continue to subscribe to my chapter. Mobile version. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 217. The latest broadcast tomorrow is 515, the beginning of the anniversary, the most welfare day. In addition to the gift bag, this time the 515 red envelopes mad must be seen. Red envelopes do not grab the truth, set the alarm clock. Unfavorable, Ziwei decided to look at the feedback of the apprentices. These magic apprentices are teenagers, similar to potential audiences. So the 10 How the Sorcerer Made It appeared in the newly completed library of the Violet Academy. The library has 3 floors, the space is very spacious, and the large floor-to-ceiling windows make the entire library bright. Outside is the beautiful lawn and garden. It is refreshing at a glance, and it is also very quiet, so it is the favorite place for apprentices to study. Fernandez has always been the library manager of the tower, and he is very qualified for the job, so he was appointed as the newly completed librarian by Ziwei, and he can get 5 additional arcane points per month. Therefore, Fernandez worked harder and he cherished the good work that many apprentices admire and hate. Today's new book How the Magician is Made, novel class. How come there are so many 10 copies? This name is very good. It seems that something can be done this afternoon. Fernandez selected a book, put the rest of the 9 books in the novel area of the bookshelf, and then carefully look at it. The cover of this book is actually a painting. Fernandez's gaze was first attracted to the pictures on the cover. This boy is burning with flames all over the body, so cool. Is the old man behind the magician? It's very knowledgeable at first glance, it's definitely amazing. These 2 girls are so beautiful. The clothing on the body is so beautiful and luxurious, and the figure is also very good. Fernandez suddenly felt a hot nose. He did not dare to think about it again, and quickly opened the title page. The quality of the paper is very good, the pale yellow book paper is thick, and although the word is small, it can be easily seen clearly. Chapter 1, The Fallen Genius. Standard Magic, 3. Looking at the shiny and even glaring 3-square scale on the magic wand, the juvenile face is expressionless, the lips have a self-deprecating, clasped palm, because the force is too strong, resulting in a sharp nail penetration in the palm of my hand. It brought a burst of pain. FAR, Standard Magic, 3. Level, Low-Level Magic Apprentice. On the side of the test magic room, a middle-aged man took a look at the information displayed on the test stick, and announced it in a quiet tone. Fernandez originally had the meaning of scrutiny, but soon he was caught by the compact story of the story, and the whole heart was completely sunk into the book. I don't know how long it took. I seem to have several apprentices borrowing books in the afternoon. His left hand is reluctant to put this book down. After rushing to find the books he needs, he will quickly return to this. Abandoned in the novel. When he lifted his head again, the sky was completely dark, and the entire library was silent and empty. Fernandez quickly put the book How the Magician Was Made into the school bag, locked the door of the library, and ran back to the dormitory building on the road. As a high-level magician apprentice, he can already enjoy a separate dormitory and even a separate bathroom. He missed the dinner time, but this delicious spiritual food made him forget the hunger of his stomach, lying on a comfortable bed and watching the light yellow magic light. This night, Fernandez, who has always worked diligently, did not insist on routine meditation. This is the key to enhancing the magic. The next day, Fernandez, who was undersleep, appeared in the teaching building with a pair of dark circles. He resisted the instigation of his heart and spent the morning teaching time. Originally, he always took notes seriously and even asked questions frequently, but today he is scratching his heart and has no mood to learn. As soon as he was in the lunch break, he found Tom directly, tearing off a piece of endless fluffy bread into his mouth, and the book in his hand was still flipping through. The days of sleepless nights lasted for 3 days, and the story of how the sorcerer made it was finally finished. Fernandez took a sigh of relief. He didn't know how to come over these 3 days. The whole person is completely immersed in the story. Juvenile Far's love and hate, fighting and growing, all this is inscribed in the heart, cannot forget. He can't wait to see it again from the beginning. However, Fernandez still has self-control. He knows that his life and learning state have been a mess in the past few days, so it will not work. He is a good student who aims to be a powerful magician. As if to quit drug addiction, Fernandez reluctantly put this How the Magician Is Made into the library's bookshelf. However, in the next second, the book was borrowed. Fernandez discovered that the rest of the 9 books on the shelf, How the Magician Was Made, had already been borrowed, and 2 others had slowed down and did not borrow this one in their hands. How the Magician Is Made has been passed down among the apprentices of the Violet Academy without any suspense. For a time, walking in the college, in the classroom, in the restaurant, in the arena, Fernandez can always hear the cry of the teenagers, 30 years of Hedong, 30 years of Hexy, Mo Bullspor. The whole thing has reached its climax. One apprentice not only brought this book into the classroom, couldn't help but look at it. This lesson is taught by Yang, the deputy dean of the Violet Academy. He is teaching the characteristics of a very strong zero-ring spell. The apprentice looked at the corner in the corner, but did not notice that Yang had stopped teaching, and came to him. The eyes of the whole class all fell on him. However, he knew nothing and was still immersed in the world of Far. A pair of hands suddenly came out and took the book away. The apprentice rushed up and whispered, "I will give it to you after reading it." As soon as he looked up, the apprentice was scared. The book that took the book turned out to be a serious deputy dean, Yang. Yang has been keenly aware that there has been some irregularity in the style of the Violet Academy during this period. Many instructors have responded that the apprentices have lost their spirits, and the number of notes or speeches has been greatly reduced. Yang, who finally found the culprit, took action and collected all 10 copies of How the Magician Was Made. This is the first time that the apprentices have seen extracurricular books since the establishment of the Violet Academy. It is a magical course that is enough to change the fate of the apprentices and let them master the powerful power courses. Yang, who took 10 copies of How the Sorcerer Made It, found Zai Wei and solemnly reflected the situation. 11 Wei smiled, "Yang, don't be so serious. This book is written by me." Although Yang has already had speculation, he is still very puzzled. "Zai Wei tutor, I think this will cause the apprentices to be distracted and not seriously study. Why do you want to do this?" PS 5.15 starting point under the red envelope rain. At 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I will grab around every hour. A big wave of 515 red packets will be lucky. You all go grab the starting currency and continue to subscribe to my chapter. Mobile version. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 218. What do you think of the qualifications of the students in the Violet Academy? Zai Wei sat in the spacious and bright principal's room and asked calmly. Comparatively, it's not too good. Yang actually said that although a large number of high-level magic apprentices have emerged recently, the main reason is that because of the excellent teaching methods, it is foreseeable that most of these magic apprentices can. It's already the limit to the magical overflow and promotion to the official magician. There is almost no hope for the mid-level magician to attack. So we have to look long-term. Violet is too small, Corsica is not big, and there are more than 300 million people on the mainland of Orient. The Violet Academy will enroll the entire continent of Orient in the future. It is the first book of my Magic Popular series. Zai Wei shouted his plan. Magic popularity, so that every genius of magic is no longer buried. This is really a great plan. Yang is obviously also impressed by the bright future depicted by 11 Wei. Yang, how far are you from the promotion of the three-ring magician? After explaining the last question, Zai Wei shifted the topic to Yang's personal practice. I have already opened up the tidal ocean in the heart of the lake. At present, the two elements of water and soil coexist. The magic grows very fast, and the final breakthrough is only the real achievement of the four elements of the heart lake. Yang has arrived. The peak of the second ring magician. The four-line heart lake has a high demand for the soul. Remember to come to me before you break through, 11 Wei said. Although Yang is very talented, but the soul level cannot meet the requirements of developing the four elements of the lake. I need this tutor to assist myself. I remember, Yang Zhengzhong replied, and then retired. These days, Zai Wei is not idle. In the process of studying space magic, the stargazing station was finally built. Because of the towering tower, it was built on the highest level of the Violet Castle. It is the highest point of the entire Violet Island and the closest to the stars above the sky. The entire stargazing platform is equipped with a hemispherical high-strength glass cover, which can be fully opened under the control of the joystick. A rotatable metal base is fixed in the middle of the stargazing platform. There are 8 metal on the base. The skeleton can be as flexible as a human finger. The astronomical telescope is linked to the 8 metal skeletons, and the sky and stars can be observed in 360 degrees. On the nights after the completion of the stargazing tower, Zai Wei often sat on the observation base of the metal base and manipulated high-precision astronomical telescopes to observe the stars above the mainland of the Orient. Since Merlin became the first official magician of mankind, the magic of the Orient continent has been developed for more than 2,000 years. Elements of change, protection, neglect, spirit, decoration, and summoning have emerged, but never develop magic of the stars, and prophecies. When human beings begin to have wisdom, they will observe the sky, the earth, and the ocean, and they will look up at the stars and want to understand the truth of the world. The telescope has already begun to spread, and in the hands of magicians, high precision and pure glass is not difficult. Even in the last world without extraordinary power, whether it was ancient Eastern civilization or Western civilization, there were Qin Tianjian and astronomers trying to explain the events in the world with stars and astronomical phenomena. But on the mainland of Orient, the magic of the stars is completely blank. Through many experiments and measurements on the tools at hand, Ziwei has been able to determine that the main material plane of the continent of Orient is a planet. The Sun is real, a star far larger than the Orient planet, emitting light and heat. The planet of Orient is spinning around the Sun, with changes throughout the year. However, when I used the astronomical telescope to observe the bright and awkward stars in the sky, Ziwei came to a crazy conclusion. These stars are false and not real. It's just the phenomenon caused by light and shadow, not real. It's not that light from a few light years or even thousands of light years has spread to the planet of Orient. This obviously formed a certain impact on the understanding of Ziwei, but in the end he accepted the status quo. This is the world of swords and magic. What is wrong with science? If inferred from the common sense of the Earth, Silver Moon should be the satellite of the Orient planet and the closest star to the world of Orient. Even with a telescope that is not so high, the surface of the Silver Moon can be clearly seen. However, when Ziwei really manipulated the astronomical telescope to observe the Silver Moon, he discovered that the surface of the Silver Moon was covered with a layer of fog, completely ignoring the sight of all the snoops. This layer of fog is not a natural phenomenon, but a mysterious and powerful energy. Obviously this is the embodiment of MS Silver Moon. Ziwei knows that he must not use the old ideas to set the present world. Otherwise, the real perception of the world will be biased, which will create huge obstacles to the future. 7 days later, Ziwei finally waited for the full moon night. This day is the fog that hangs around the silver moon, and the day of the moon shines without any hindrance. At the Ziwei end, sitting on the observation position, the dome of the glass cover was completely lowered, and the starry sky and the silver moon appeared in front of his eyes without any obstruction. With trembling hands to adjust the azimuth of the telescope, control the focal length of the objective lens and eyepiece, Ziwei finally saw the real face under the mysterious veil of the silver moon. Unlike the once worldly puddle caused by the fall of the meteorite, the silver moon is so bright, bright and bright. The whole silver moon is a bright, bright, and round ball. She is perfect. Ziwei opened the eyes of Silver Moon. This is the blessing of MS Silver Moon. Under the vision of the eye of Silver Moon, Ziwei further insights into the truth of Yunyu. The whole Silver Moon is composed of vast and pure silver energy. It is both matter and energy. Ziwei was shocked by this amazing discovery. So pure and vast horror energy can destroy the entire continent of Orient in an instant. Is this the true power of MS Yunyu? At this moment, the light of Yunyu seemed to be suddenly brighter. The body of Ziwei was suddenly light, and the soul involuntarily separated from the body, and was blown by a breeze for 9 days. If the ordinary people encountered this situation, they were scared. However, Ziwei's soul was stable at this moment, because he felt the power of Yunyu. This is an invitation from MS Yunyu. Mobile version. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 219. The soul of Ziwei swayed up. He overlooked the earth. Violet Island became smaller and smaller in the field of vision. It soon became a small black spot on the Golden Sea, and the Golden Sea became a slender jade belt. The whole picture of the entire continent of Orient is completely in the vision of Ziwei, and his soul has risen to the periphery of the Silver Moon. He felt the vast and pure energy of Silver Moon from a close distance, and the energy of using the Alana Blessing series spells is exactly the same. This is the body of MS Silver Moon. The next moment, the soul of Ziwei was wrapped in the breeze and greeted the Silver Moon. Ms Yin opened her warm arms like a mother. The soul of Ziwei entered the interior of the silver moon. Bang! The surrounding scenery has suddenly changed dramatically. Ziwei saw a tree, a towering land, lush foliage, vitality, and vast trees. This big branch is very straight and stretches out numerous branches of different thicknesses. Each tip has a bubble at the tip of it. The bubble seems to contain a world. Ziwei's heart gave birth to a kind of enlightenment. This towering tree is the tree of the world of the Orient continent. The bubble at the tip of each branch is a plane in the multi-plane. Around the world tree is an endless starry sky, dotted with stars. This is the real starry sky, not the star projections that the Orient continent can observe. This endless starry sky is where the stars are. This is the real situation of the Orient world. This is the true composition of the multidimensional plane. Even if it is a legendary strongman, it is impossible to jump out of the world tree to observe the world. The power of Silver Moon has far surpassed the imagination of Ziwei. She is definitely not a general god. After the fusion of the four elements of the geothermal feng shui, Ziwei discovered the existence of the fifth element ether. Through the death ceremonial ritual into the endless river of sorrow, Ziwei sublimated in the Soul Mother River that traversed the entire multidimensional plane and condensed the Dream Star Soul Treasure Drill. Today, with the help of Ms Yunyu, she jumped out of the world of Orient and observed the truth of the world tree, the multiplane and the astral. The impact of this ring made Ziwei insight into the real world at the source level. His soul energy is so full and easily jumped to a higher level and track. Although the speed of promotion has been suppressed, the 5-ring high-level magician is still at this moment. This is a great opportunity. A gift from the silver moon goddess Iluna. Ziwei has just completed his promotion, and the world tree, dream stars, and multidimensional planes in the vision have all disappeared. His soul is in the vast and innocent silver moon. The next moment, a gentle and beautiful illusion appeared in front of the soul of Ziwei. She is so beautiful that she can't express it in words. She is so gentle and easy to smooth out the waves in your heart. She is so powerful, surrounded by her body. She is so kind, like a next-door sister. Ziwei realized that this is the image of Ms Yinlu, the Lady of Silver Moon, and perhaps her projection is in front of her. If it is described by the age of human beings, Ms Yinlu is about 25 and 6 years old. It is the most beautiful life in her life. Her beauty has completely surpassed the common customs, that is, it is impossible to use the country and the people to describe. Ziwei deeply bowed. Although I don't know why you are so fond of me, but I still want to say thank you sincerely. This road has come, and there is too much help from Ms Yinyu. This kind of favor has already reached the point where Ziwei is somewhat difficult to carry. Ziwei likes to help others, but never wants to owe too much to others, let alone a beautiful goddess. However, Ms Yinyu was only a shallow smile, and the thrilling beauty caught the heart of Ziwei. Although Ziwei is used to the beauty of the beauty, whether Charlotte, Natalia, or Christine is a rare super beauty in the world, but the heart of Ziwei is in front of the smile of Ilana in this moment. No resistance. Ziwei had to admit that he had fallen. If Ms Yinyu was a real beauty, he would not hesitate to pursue her. However, she is a god, one of the only two true gods in the whole of the continent. The illusion of Yunyu suddenly dissipated in front of Ziwei and still held the last smile. Ziwei's subconscious hand reached out and tried to grasp it, but only caught a crescent that finally condensed into a virtual shadow. Ziwei stared at this crescent moon shining with silver. This is the commemoration that Silver Moon left for him. Then in the next moment, the crescent shines brightly, completely enveloping the soul of Ziwei. A gleaming silver light crossed the sky and fell straight into the mainland of Orient, falling into the Golden Sea and falling into the stargazing platform on the island of Violet. Silver light shines in the soul of Ziwei, and this light rushes out like a clear ice flow into every part of his body, transforming his body. Whether it is bone and blood, skin, or organs, everything in the body is shrouded in this gentle silver moonlight soaked, the whole body is completely in the air. If the elves of the Yangju Island can witness this scene, they will send out the most shocking emotion. In front of this scene, it is clear that only the most pious moon priest of Silver Moon Lady Elena can enjoy the moon's eternal blessing. Even the nobles of the Japanese elves cannot get the blessing of the moon that is unique to the elf queen and the priestess of the moon. The elves, after the blessing of the moon, the blood of the elves who have already been extraordinary, will be further evolved, closer to the perfect form. Whether it is mental strength, agility or physical fitness, it will be comprehensively and greatly enhanced. When the moon's eternal blessing continued for a whole magic, the silver moonlight around the body of Ziwei gradually dimmed, and Ziwei also slowly landed on the ground from midair. Congratulations to Ziwei, the blood of the elves in your body has been a perfect evolution. Now you can be called a purebred elf from the outside or inside. And more specifically, you can still the perfect switch between the elf and the human appearance. Your physical fitness has also been greatly enhanced. The current physical fitness is as follows: Strength 8.7, Agility 12.6, Physical 9.2. 0 first told the current situation of Ziwei. And Natalia's father, the Marquis of the Master of the Blood, Knight Carlo Bona, in the daily state, the power is 15. However, Ziwei now focuses on physical fitness. Strength does not lose ordinary high-ranking warriors, agility is even higher than most high-end thieves. If you master all kinds of combat skills, you can also be a guest warrior profession. Ms. Yenyu's Priestess of the Moon is a strong man who is proficient in Luna and a variety of powerful martial arts. Mobile version. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 220. 11 Wei stretched out his right hand, and there was a silver crescent in his palm that no longer shines. The goddess is deeply in love, I don't know when it will be rewarded. From today, Ziwei is a true high-level magician. The eternal blessing of the moon is not the biggest gain of Ziwei, and the new ability acquired by the promotion of the magician is more happy for Ziwei. What the Golden Supreme Master needs is to gain insight into the truth of the world. This world truth does not have to be completely true, and may even be completely opposite to reality. Even the completely wrong world truth may make the magician raise the ranks, because this is the ideal level. I believe, I can do it. Of course, if the insight is one-sided or even the wrong world, then it is very miserable, because no matter whether it is a master of promotion or a legendary field, it needs to be in contact with the world all the time. The magician who passed the wrong world and raised the ranks is here, and the 6 rings are the highest level they can reach. Wanting to be promoted to the Master of Magic is simply suicide. However, in the process of insight into the reality of the world, it is impossible to see the conclusions left by the predecessors. Even if it does not work, it will not block the road in this respect. Only by comprehending the insight of the world truth can the magician's soul jump to a higher level. Therefore, a large part of the high-ranking magicians have a lifetime of hopeless masters because of the one-sided and wrong world truth. But even the high-level magician is already very powerful. Because of the soaring level of the soul, the high-level magician has at least 120 years of life. Many of them choose to build their own master tower to recruit apprentices, or find a suitable wife to give birth to a child, to cultivate, and to pin their hopes on disciples or younger generations. However, in the process of seeing the truth of the world, Ziwei's insight into the real world far exceeds the level of ordinary high-level magicians. The etheric elements have not yet found traces of stable existence in the main material plane, and the etheric sphere in the hands of Ziwei is a major discovery that is able to obtain the highest Merlin Award of the 1000 Method Tower. The Endless River is also a taboo for most magical masters, but Ziwei has sublimated its soul and made a Dream Star Soul Drill. Finally, with the help of Ms. Yenyu, I watched the real relationship between the World Tree, the multifaceted plane and the astral world. This is the super chance that the legendary powerhouse does not have it. Zai is a real and easygoing upgraded magician with his own insight into the world, and the real world also gives him the ability to be strong. Real magic eyes. As long as Zai opened his eyes, everything in his eyes seemed to be an abstract figure in his eyes, no matter how many subtle changes can be easily detected. He can clearly see every hair on the body, and even count the number of it. He can see the specific direction of each fiber in his clothes, how the interior is woven. This superintelligence ability obviously puts a great burden on his brain, even if he is superior to the brain after his promotion to the magician. But Zero can. Zero is the highest crystallization of human wisdom in the 35th century AD, with quantum computer-level information processing capabilities. Zero jumped into the body of Zai, and once again entangled with the soul of Zai, easily summed up all these astronomical digital information. This seemingly huge burden of power has a great meaning. As soon as Zai sees a magical flash of light, he can understand the energy composition of the connotation, and even what is the spell model of this spell. It can be said that from now on, as long as Zai opens the real magic eye ability, the spells below the 7-ring master level, as long as they are once displayed in front of him, will be mastered by Zai. As a result, Zai's list of spells is more than a question of time in the Thousand Laws Tower. What's more, Zai's insight into the world's real and zero super information data processing capabilities means that you can create unlimited possibilities. A white light flashed, and the figure of Zai appeared in the underground secret room of the Master Tower. Turning on the real magic eye, 11 Wei's line of sight falls on the most valuable piece of Descartes' magical magic in the Chamber of Secrets, the pale gold boots engraved with the Shuttle Stars spell. The real magic eye easily passed through the obstacles on the surface of the boots, and the first time to find the magic model inside the treasure. The whole spell model is completely revealed under the direct vision of the real magic eyes of Zai, without any mistakes. After a moment, Zai closed his eyes, and the entire spell model was completely engraved in his mind. This is a spell model far beyond the spells seen by Zai. It has a completely three-dimensional structure, a large number of irregular polyhedrons and curves, totaling 3,425 nodes. It can be said that ordinary people will be dizzy even if they look at it. This is a 6-ring spell. However, under the joint analysis of Zai and Zero, the meaning of each link, each node, and each polyhedron is quickly resolved. The original magical model is finally solved into hundreds. A small module with different functions, many of these small modules are repeated. Each module is parsed again, the parsed portion is painted blue, and the unresolved portion is marked red. It didn't take long for the red part to have only 3 big areas left. These are the models of the plane and space that Zai had not touched before. Obviously, this is the problem left by Descartes, the 3 most important inscriptions for the astral spells. Practice is the only way to solve the problem. Zai did not hesitate to build a spell model in the heart of the lake. Although the 3 inscriptions are not clear about the specific role, it is not difficult to display them according to the same. Zai now achieves the ability to cast 6-ring spells in both mental and magical powers, although he has only been promoted to become a 5-ring magician. Of course, in addition to the 2nd and 4th ring magicians, the promotion of other magician levels is not based on the ability to display the same level of spells. When the magic in the heart of the lake began to flood into the first inscription, Zai finally understood the meaning of this inscription. Spiritual extension. The spells are cast into this link, and the spirit is condensed into a line that extends into the space. It's like a hook thrown when fishing. The spiritual power of high-ranking magicians has gone far beyond the category that human beings should have. The line of spiritual power of Zai continues to extend in space, and finally touches the wall of the stars. Here is the barrier between the multidimensional plane of the Orient world and the vast expanse of the world tree. This barrier is not as strong as the crystal wall outside the multiplane, but can be easily crossed. Mobile version. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 221. Soon, the magic poured into the second inscription. The meaning of this inscription is, anchor. As long as you fill in the space model in the spell model, this inscription can anchor the hook that extends the spirit to the plane you want to reach. The last inscription is the most complex, and the magic required is the most, almost half of the magic required for the entire spell. The meaning of the last inscription is, transmission. Briefly open the space channel and transfer the caster and companion to the target plane. All three inscriptions are illuminated by magic, so Zai can go to the plane where he has made the space mark at any time, such as the deep sea plane he has been to. As long as you master this spell, Zai is equal to the ability to travel and develop in the plane. Since Zai had not filled the space markers into the spell model, the shuttle star spell failed at the last moment. Zai simulated the three inscriptions of the inscriptions in the air against the illusion, and the pair of star shuttle boots engraved with shuttle stars began. The complete shuttle astral spell is very expensive for a six-ring magician, and putting the mental power into the astral as a hook is inherently dangerous. However, with this pair of pale gold star shuttle boots, the mental power projection is changed to the spell model engraved in it, and the difficulty of casting the star shuttle spell is greatly reduced, and the safety factor is also improved a lot. At this point, the best pieces of the magical things that Descartes left in the underground secret room fell into the hands of Zai. As for the remaining pieces, Zai has not been used, and it can be used as a college and a tower in the future. Treasures are used to redeem rewards to students, and another form of carrots on sticks. Once the world's space barriers and their strictness, it is very difficult to shuttle space. Because the Earth's solar system and other planets that may have intelligent life are so far away, some people feel that human beings are facing a cruel fate, looking up at the stars, but they can only be trapped in the starry desert. It was not until the 29th century that humans developed the technology of shuttle space through wormholes. Crossing the galaxy and crossing space is no longer a dream. But on the mainland of Orient, space capabilities are not uncommon and difficult to obtain. As long as the master is promoted to the middle level, he will be able to reach the first spell that is very important in combat and daily life. This spell allows the caster to disappear in place and appear in any position in the field of view. Of course, the magic consumption increases exponentially with increasing distance, so the distance of the flash is generally not very far. The four-ring master can carry out long-distance transmissions within one plane. The five-circle master can use the Outer Bounds spell to summon all kinds of magical and powerful creatures from the multifaceted plane to fight for themselves. Of course, there are quite a lot of stupid wizards who are killed by the summoned objects. The sixth ring master can use the shuttle astral spell to truly cross the barrier between the plane, and begin to explore and develop the ectopic plane. Magic apprentices and low-level wizards don't look so powerful. When warriors, knights, and thieves with their ranks can easily harvest life, low-loop spells are mostly functional spells. Except for a magic missile, other spells can be said to be very weak. However, when the magician was promoted to the third ring, a magical spell appeared. That is Fireball. This is the first mass-killing spell that a magician can master. It is extremely powerful and can easily bury an enemy in the flame. Even a magical master or even a legendary magician, in the face of large-scale enemies, the first reaction is to go out with a fireball. His status is unique, and almost every school magician learns this spell. For thousands of years, the standard spelling model of Fireball has been improved countless times, and finally it is almost perfect. Even a legendary magician can no longer optimize half. And all kinds of super magic skills, including spells, 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 and spells. and the 3-ring spells have many super strong spells, such as flight, such as flash. Therefore, in the 3rd ring stage, the magicians have been greatly improved in offensive, defensive and maneuverability, and the same level of warriors, knights, thieves can also play back and even have the upper hand. At the stage of high level, paradigm, the magician has begun to outperform most occupations by gaining insight into the realities of the world and thus enhancing the special promotion of the essence of the soul. Only the blood knights, warlocks, and priests with magical powers that have all kinds of magical blood can compete. More importantly, the magician is the creator, the scholar, and the magician almost represents the forefront and peak of the European civilization. Tonight is promoted to be a high-level magician, with all kinds of magic, the magical things and magics. Ziwei dare to say that he can face the masters of the martial arts without falling, and that the war is to take the initiative in his own hands. As the soul sublimated in the endless river of silence into a dream star soul, Ziwei has a great exemption from spiritual spells. It can be said that the thread of the silver eagle has fallen sharply. This finally relaxed the string that Ziwei had been tightening. The construction of the first phase of the entire Violet Island has been completed, enough to accommodate thousands of apprentices and study at the same time. The next focus is only the rapid publication of magic popular reading materials and the study of blood ability. In the study of blood abilities, the advantages of Ziwei can be described as unique. He has a large number of rare high blood vessels as materials, such as his own blood of the Japanese elves, the blood of the wind of Natalia, the blood of Charlotte's abyss, the blood of Freya. He also had a lot of accumulations in blood transformation, the shell of the shining ant and the rare materials that helped Freya to complete the transformation from the human to the blood of the Naga queen. More importantly, Zero has a strong ability to observe, analyze, and summarize experiments. With so many advantages accumulating together, if Ziwei can't figure out how the blood is functioning, then acupuncture can't be said. Since waking up from the dormant evolution of Zero, research on various blood vessels has begun, and from the micro level, it is deeply insight into how the blood vessels function. Through various comparative experiments, Zero has come to many conclusions, and it is only one step away from the real secret of the blood. The next thing to do is the living experiment. Mobile version. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 222. The next morning, the Friendship was once again docked at the dock of the harbor town. The head of the Bonaparte Chamber of Commerce, Baron Humphrey, appeared on the island of Violet. He came at the invitation of 11 Way, and the cooperation was to sell the book How Magic is Made in the Kingdom of France. Although the Bonaparte family is located on the remote Corsica, this does not mean that there is no sales channel for the Bonaparte Chamber of Commerce. On the contrary, the Bonaparte Chamber of Commerce has flourished for more than a decade and has established warehouses and hotels throughout every important city in the Kingdom of France. It's all because of Natalia's mother, Mrs. Olivia's sake. She is the favorite sister of the French King Charles VIII O'Brien. Mrs. Olivia is now the behind-the-scenes rudder of the Bonaparte Chamber of Commerce. The responsible person is the former court official of Corsica who accompanied the Princess Olivia, who was married with Versailles. It's nice to meet you, Baron Humphrey. Ziwei appeared in a black uniform in a fit and skillful appearance on the dock. It's nice to meet you, Frost Knight. Baron Humphrey wore a low-key purple uniform with a gold medal. He had a gold medal on his chest. This was the first time Charles VII. A loyalty to him. Baron Humphrey's power within the entire Bonaparte family is second only to the Bonaparte family and the old butler Oaks. He has never seen a number of high-ranking officials from the Palace of Versailles. But in front of the handsome boy who was just 16 years old, he did not show even a trace of arrogance. Because Miss Natalia returned to the Blue Fort and told everything she had seen, whether it was in the battle with the hungry wolf on the sea or the legendary adventure in the deep sea plain, it was proved in front of this. A young and horrible pioneering knight is a promising mage, and even a friendship between the Queen of Naga and the legendary powerhouse. More importantly, this young and handsome knight is likely to become the future husband of Miss Natalia. Therefore, the process of meeting the two people was very harmonious. They complemented each other along the way. They had already met each other before they arrived at Violetberg. It was as if they had known each other for many years. God! This is your castle. This is the most beautiful and beautiful castle I have ever seen, even more beautiful than the Palace of Versailles. This is a miracle, I can't imagine it on this lonely island. How was such a dream castle built? The Baron Humphrey was obviously shocked by the beauty of Violetberg. He spread his arms and praised him from the heart. This is the power of magic, you can turn the miracle into reality, Ziwei replied with a smile. The Baron Humphrey ushered inside the Violet Fortress and sat on the large and comfortable sofa in the reception room. The werewolf maid Cynthia came forward to the host and guests with delicious black tea. Baron Humphrey's gaze followed Cynthia until she walked out of the reception room. Is this? As you can see, a werewolf. From the distant east, I am currently my servant, Ziwei responded politely. It turned out to be a werewolf maid. The Knights of Frost, you really opened my eyes. The desolate and remote islands of the original imagination are so beautiful and civilized. The construction of your territory is really good. The Baron Humphrey picked up a teacup with a delicate pattern called a piece of art, and took a soft sip. The fragrance is pleasant, it is delicious. 11 Wei's hand flashed a white light, and a book How the Sorcerer Made It was pushed by an invisible hand to the Baron Humphrey. Baron Humphrey picked up the pair of glasses in his chest pocket and took it on his eyes. After about half of the magic, Baron Humphrey, who had already read the small half, finally raised his head. Frost Knight, this book can be sold. First of all, the material of this book is very good, far more than the books and papers that are common on the market now. Secondly, the superb painting techniques on the color cover show the main characters with different characteristics, and it will not fade. This is obviously also innovations, many people will only see the cover only. Finally, the story is very attractive, the magician is the main character of the novel is still very few, readers will love this book. Baron Humphrey made a conclusion. 11 Wei's face showed a victorious smile. Hey? I don't think so. At this moment, a high-pitched voice suddenly sounded in the reception room, and then the silver-haired beauty Christine appeared here. Even though Baron Humphrey was used to the various beautiful women in the Palace of Versailles, the middle-aged city was deep, but suddenly I saw Christine's charm of turning the lives of all beings, but I couldn't control it. It turned into a pig-like look. After a few moments, he reacted, and he was sitting in a hurry and coughed twice. Is this? 11 Wei introduced with a smile, this is the daughter of the Philippine Grand Duke of the Holy Norman Empire, Miss Christine. She is also a high-ranking magician, who is in my castle. It is actually the daughter of Philip, the de facto ruler of Spain. This Christine is even more noble than her own lady. Baron Humphrey quickly stood up and bowed to tribute. His title is much lower than Christine. How, Christine, even the industry insiders like Humphrey is also optimistic about the sales of my book, Ziwei toned with a kind of pride. Before the arrival of Baron Humphrey, Civi was talking to Christine, who wanted Christine to help open the market for the Holy Norman Empire. As a Christine, it's easy to make such a thing. However, Christine is obviously not optimistic about the book of Ziwei. She believes that such a mistaken book will not be able to play the role of magic popularization, but will cause various errors to the reader. And there is nothing interesting about the story, at least she can't see it at all, except for writing. Christine was still persuading Ziwei not to waste such a good writing, and she could complete a more rigorous magic book under her guidance. The answer from Baron Humphrey apparently made Christine very unhappy, so that her voice was less tender and fascinating than ever. I always insist that your book will not sell well, but will make the real magician laugh. Christine held it on the waist with one hand, righteously said. Baron Humphrey, I want to ask, what is the standard of the bestseller? Ziwei did not respond positively to Christine's provocation, and instead asked Baron Humphrey. The Holy Calendar has 12 best-selling books on the French literature market in 1975, the least of which sold 52,000 copies, and the annual sales champion sold 190,000 copies. Mobile version. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 223. Last year's best-selling book sold a full 190,000 copies. It is important to know that the population of the entire French kingdom is about 50 million, and the literacy rate of the entire French kingdom will not exceed 15%. It can be said that 1 in every 37 literate people bought this book. Plus books can borrow from each other, and 190,000 copies are already astronomical numbers. That means the bestseller is 50,000 copies? Ziwei, as long as you can sell more than 50,000 copies in the French kingdom within a year, even if I lose, Christine naturally heard 11 Wei just said the meaning of the question, she said very unpleasantly. 200,000 copies, Ziwei stretched out his right index finger and without hesitation, if I lose less than 200,000 books, I will lose. And this book will be sold at normal selling prices, never dumping at a low price, Ziwei added. The new book, who is not famous, wants to exceed the sales champion of the French kingdom last year. Good. This is what you said. What is the bet? Christine found that the westward in front of her suddenly became the most arrogant arrogance she had, and it looked so awkward. If I lose, I can promise you any request within the limits of what I can. The words in Ziwei are full of confidence. Without any requirement, if you lose, this violet castle is mine. How? Christine smiled. No problem. If you lose, I hope that you can serve as a mentor at the Violet Academy. Ziwei finally had the opportunity to say what he called for Christine. It's not that he has to choose a way to bet, but that Christine has lived on Violet for more than a month. She is the daughter of Philip's Grand Duke, the head of the master on St. Estanba, and it has been a luxury to leave the country and position for a month. Although Ziwei has exhausted all kinds of methods during this time, Christine has been very friendly and cooperative, but he has never spoken. Seeing that the birthday of the sun is approaching, Christine's departure time has also entered the countdown, and Ziwei has no choice but to use the gambling method. No problem. If I lose, don't talk about the tutor of the Violet Academy, I will be with you all my life, let you drive. If the 50,000 copies are still uninsured, 200,000 copies are already an impossible astronomical number. Now, if Ziwei's erroneous book can really create a miracle and sell 200,000 copies, then he is really a miracle son. Perhaps my nightmare will end by the son of this miracle. Then you must always be with him to resist the nightmare erosion, which is the requirement in the bet. If you win, the first site of the Violet Fort is in your own name. Steady earning does not pay. Christine's face showed a big smile. If this is the case, then we will sign a vow of the Styx. The sword of the swan swears by the endless river of traversal of the multidimensional plane. If you dare to violate the vows, the soul will be thrown into the endless river of eternal life, and eternal life must not be separated. This was the most standard pledge used by the devils of the endless abyss to sign the contract. Later, it was gradually mastered by the magicians and became a highly reliable vow. Although the soul of Ziwei has been sublimated into a dream star soul in the endless river of sorrow, if he is exiled to the endless river of silence, he can no longer be separated, so he cannot violate this vow. But for Ziwei, even if you lose, you will only lose a violet fort. He has been promoted to the rank of magician, plus 0 help, as long as half a month can recreate a violet castle. Once the gambling win is won, the silver-haired beauty will join the Violet Academy and become a trustworthy and knowledgeable magician. Steady earning does not pay. Both faces showed a confident smile at the same time. Christine took a pale green paper out of the space ring. This is the Zisha paper, which is made from the endless abyss and is called the Zisha grass. It is the best material used to sign the vows. Another pen was taken out, and the ink at the tip of the pen was the ink of the other side made of the other side of the flower on the shore of the endless river. In Devil's word, he wrote the complete contract on Zisha paper, and Christine handed the contract to Ziwei. Ziwei didn't have to look at it. When the mind touched it, a paragraph appeared in his mind. It was the vows that the two had just said. He nodded and left his own unique soul mark under the paper with the secret imprint. The same is true of Christine. The soul print of the two just fell on the paper. The whole piece of paper has no fire and spontaneously ignited, and instantly dissipated in the wind. 11 Wei immediately felt that there was a small amount of something in the soul, and the vow of the sticks had been reached. The Baron Humphrey, who was thrown aside, was able to interject, "Frosto Knight, the paper you use in this book is very unique and is much better than the paper used in our Chamber of Commerce. If you use the original paper, I am afraid there will be illegible writing. I can license this paper making and printing technology to the Bonaparte Chamber of Commerce." Ziwei waved his hand and said his welfare. In fact, at the beginning, this was the benefit of the Ziwei plan to the Bonaparte family, because he could not drive the Bonaparte Chamber of Commerce to sell books. After all, the Bonaparte family controlled a very powerful sales channel in this era. If there is no full help from the Bonaparte Chamber of Commerce, even if this book is written well, I am afraid that he will not be able to sell 10,000 copies a year. Thank you for your generosity. In return, we only leave the cost of the sale of this book. The profits are all owned by the Frost Knight. This is just a book, but better paper and more advanced printing. Technology is obviously more valuable. Give me a set too. Ziwei, I will help you in the territory of the Holy Norman Empire. If you sell more than 200,000 copies in the Holy Norman Empire within 1 year, it is also my loss. Christine also extended his hand. You are leaving. The eyes of Ziwei showed a nostalgic look. Although Christine looked a bit cold and not easy to get along with, she gave Ziwei a lot of help during the time in Violet. Whether it is the political, economic, and military status quo of the Orient continent, or the struggle between the Towers of the Thousand Law, the Kings, and the Lord of the Glory, or the principles, philosophy, and general status of various schools of science. Ziwei is like a sponge. Greedy draws all kinds of knowledge and information from Christine, and Christine has never concealed it. Instead, he tells Ziwei honestly what he knows. Of course. I will not leave. The knights of the Phillips family will drive over to the island of Violet, Christine said with a sigh of relief. I wish you a happy Christmas. See you next year. See you next time. I hope that you will become a member of the Violet. 11 Wei will drive away from his mind and smile. See you next time. This castle is mine. Christine smirked and smiled, and the graceful body has disappeared from the Violet Castle. Mobile version. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 224. Christine is gone. As a high-level magician, she waved her sleeves without taking a cloud. Ziwei adjusted his mood and continued to talk to Baron Humphrey. Right, I almost forgot, this is a letter that Miss Natalia entrusted me to bring you. Baron Humphrey took out a letter and handed it to Ziwei. Ziwei took over and did not open on the spot. The two people continued to talk for a long time, and then they started the real transaction. Their own people completed it. Ziwei's side came up with Secretary Charlotte. Previously, the magic lamps produced in Violet Island sold very well and have become a unique best-selling product of the Bonaparte Chamber of Commerce. In the afternoon, the friendship is about to return. When he was sent to the Baron Humphrey, Ziwei gave a beautifully wrapped gift box to Baron Humphrey. When you receive a gift, you must open it in front of the gift giver. This is the etiquette of the mainland of Orient. So Baron Humphrey opened the festive red gift box and found a ruby ring inside. Baron Humphrey was a bit strange. Why did you send me a ring? This ring is engraved with local giants, bovine power and bear's toughness. I named it Seong Ring, which can be used 3 times a day. I believe that you will be satisfied with the Baron. Zai Wei's face showed a mysterious smile. Zai Feng Ring is really a good gift. Then I will accept it. The Baron Humphrey understood the meaning of Zai Wei. He quickly closed the lid of the gift box and carefully took this piece. The magic ring is closed. This is a good baby that will allow him to regain his glory and get rid of the situation that is not enough. Baron Humphrey's enthusiasm for Zai Wei was much more real. The 2 men talked on the dock for a long time, until the last moment of the friendship is about to set sail. This is reluctant to bid farewell. Seeing that the friendship number disappeared into the field of vision, Zai Wei finally let go of his heart, and this is not worried that Baron Humphrey will not have to help sell books for himself. Yes, there is a letter from Natalia to myself. A transfer back to Violet Fort. 11 Wei took off his uniform and sat comfortably in bed to see the letter. The 6-story and high-rise area of the tower was temporarily arranged for the vice president, Yang, to become the place where he lived and studied magic. We have been separated for a month in a blink of an eye, and the time has passed so fast. How are you doing? The castle has been settled. It must be beautiful. I can't wait to stay in it. I am the hostess of this castle. Hey. Is Christine still there? You must leave her in the tower. She is a powerful and knowledgeable magician who is very helpful to your tower and college development. Seeing that Zai Wei will smile here, if you don't know your true sexual orientation, I will almost believe in your evil. My father was very satisfied with the promotion of the 6th Order Blood Knight so quickly. He did not drink alcohol on a regular basis and poured a large bottle of red wine. Who made me the most talented heir in the history of the Bonaparte family. My father has arranged for me to carry out new hard training, because the short time after promotion is the best time to get new blood talent. You must not miss it. So I haven't had time to go to you until Christmas and New Year. I have told all my stories about the seabed between my parents and of course the love between us. It is worth celebrating that neither my father nor my mother have any objections. This is a good thing. You obviously left a great impression on my parents in Zai Wei. Their eyes are very high. I miss you every day and night. I hope you can think about me too. Don't leave Charlotte cold, treat her well, don't hurt the beauty. Don't talk, I will appear in front of you again next spring. Of course, there will be an unexpected surprise to bring to you, you will be very satisfied. Love you, Natalia. This letter is not long, but the lonely heart of Zai Wei seems to be comforted by the warm hands, and it becomes a lot of fun. Although Natalia has a tendency to be gay, this is harmless, and I don't know who is taking advantage of it. The relationship between her and herself is sincere, and that is enough. Zai Wei, Charlotte, who wore a white long coat, appeared in the bedroom of Zai Wei. Her eyebrows were faintly mourned and wronged. Since this time, although she has been living around Zai Wei, the daily life of Zai Wei is busy every day. He has been working and studying magic. The communication between the 2 people is almost completely limited to his work. On the beauty, she is confident not to lose either Natalia or Christine. Is it because her identity is not so noble, so that Zai Wei does not see himself? Zai Wei sighed with a sigh of relief, and it was time to face up to the feelings between the 2. Since most of the last life in the world was roaming alone in the endless sea of stars, Zai Wei has become accustomed to being alone, and loneliness and freedom have merged with him. After coming to this world, I had a slap in the beginning with Charlotte, and in the process of fighting against the evil teacher Gatlin, I was born with a special feeling of friendship. 11 Wei has deep compassion and appreciation for Charlotte, but there is no such blind and impulsive love. Because of the fear of Charlotte's feelings for himself being blindly impulsive because of a lonely resonance, Ziwei has not responded positively to Charlotte. He is waiting for Charlotte to be truly mature and able to take a rational look at this relationship. However, during this period, he met Natalia, the kind of lively and interesting life characteristics that attracted Ziwei, and the two fell in love. It is also because of the love with Natalia that Ziwei is even more unable to open the embrace to accept Charlotte. Because love is selfish, especially between partners. Ziwei does not want to go to the harem, although he is a superb handsome, can open a big harem. As long as Ziwei has been cold processed, as time goes by, Charlotte will naturally be able to come out from this blind feeling to find his true love. However, wonderful things happened. Natalia's unique sexual orientation has left Charlotte's biggest obstacle to her side, but it has become a boost. As if grasping the last life-saving straw, Charlotte seized the opportunity and presented a heart in front of Ziwei without reservation, waiting for his pick. Beauty is very affectionate, so sincere and beautiful feelings, Ziwei cannot be indifferent. What's more, he is not feeling nothing about Charlotte. Once it is imagined that Charlotte is in the arms of others, what a pity. At this time, Ziwei finally began to face his feelings, and he no longer chose to escape. 11 Wei gently extended his right hand and sat Charlotte on his side. Charlotte seemed to be hit by a huge surprise for a moment, tears leaping out of her beautiful big eyes, and the whole person instantly became a tearful beauty. I don't know how long it has been, Ziwei has never been so close to himself. I am really an indecisive bastard. 11 Wei smiled bitterly, he stretched his arms and took the red-haired beauty into his arms. Charlotte was on the shoulders of Ziwei, crying, and all the grievances and anger that had accumulated in his heart during this time were all vented. Soon the creek-like tears completely wet Ziwei's shoulders. 11 Wei was speechless and gently patted the back of the beauty. At this time, any words are superfluous. Charlotte's crying lasted for a long time, until she expelled all this unpleasantness from her body. Her eyes turned into two red peaches. Ziwei used a silver moon to help Charlotte restore the original look. Do you love me? Ziwei. Charlotte dared to ask a question she most wanted to know. Charlotte, are you willing to stay with me? So unclear, Ziwei asked. Ziwei, this is not unclear. Charlotte began to get excited again. I know what you are thinking. Do you think that I just made a wrong judgment because of a moment's touch? No, it is not like this. This is a kind of inspiration from the depths of the soul. This feeling is sincere and warm. I have no reservation for your love. As long as you live by your side is happy, I can't empathize. Charlotte, if you have to use love or not to describe it, I love you. 11 Wei took a long breath and finally said this. After actually saying this sentence, Ziwei breathed a sigh of relief. He was a lot more happy. It was a way to describe it. It was the idea. Ziwei has always been a perfectionist. He wants to harvest a perfect love. He wants to find a loyal partner, so he first asks himself to be loyal to his partner. This sense of responsibility has made him unable to face the feelings of Charlotte, always choosing to escape. Now being forced to the edge of the cliff of emotions, Ziwei finally expressed the true meaning of the heart. The beautiful and kind Charlotte, and then the sincere Charlotte, has a tragic childhood but always protects himself with a solid outer shell. Who can not love such a girl? Then start to try a new relationship, although the relationship between the three people's love is a bit confusing and strange. I know, you have me in your heart. Charlotte finally got the response from Ziwei. A passionate heart is no longer hiding, she is instantly refreshed, and the whole person is beautiful. 3 points. As for Natalia, I think she is happy to see it. After all, you have been so passionate and kissed, Ziwei said with a smile. Ah, you know, Charlotte's face was blushing, and the secret between her and Natalia was so exposed.